ambassador representing South Africa, a consul general, or a high commissioner. Now, here in Mauritius, because Mauritius is part of the Commonwealth, you do find that there is a high commissioner that's representing South Africa. And it's an absolute honor to have her here on the program talking to us. So please welcome to Morning Live the High Commissioner from South Africa, Her Excellency, Dr. Nokwe. It's so lovely to have you, and thank you very, very much for being our guest here on Morning Live.
Leon, if I may call you that, it's such an honor and a privilege, because I've always watched you and admired you, you know, from the beginning when you started at Morning Live and grew, and, you know, in your own space, and together with the late Vuyo, and whom I just want to extend to his family, as you're saying that you're going back to South Africa, that you're going to do his second anniversary, because both of you were a pair, wonderful to watch. You woke us up and we were really eager to look out for tomorrow.
Thank you so much, and I'm sure the family would appreciate the good wishes as well. Well, on a much happier note, it's been really fascinating for us to be here in Mauritius, a place where we sort of come on holiday and we enjoy it. We've bumped into so many South Africans here that have just come to enjoy these magnificent hotels and this fantastic island. But it's amazing how many South Africans live here. What are the numbers looking like? How many South Africans live in Mauritius?
Leon, indeed, Mauritius is a fantastic place to be, and a lot of the South Africans are sort of like expatriates, because South Africa is a third investor in Mauritius, and definitely then for us this is quite a key place to be. Therefore, the number of South Africans, unfortunately, when I came, this is 2012, I was told before, you know, my time there were like about 2,000 plus, but the numbers have gone down. Unfortunately, I think on our books, on what we have in our, because those are the registered ones, we don't force anybody, we are like having 600 who are registered with us.
Wow.
So, but I think these are the more like your investors who are, you know, more within the, you know, the constraints of having to live here, because you have to have, you know, investment, and then you have to pay for it. And certainly Mauritius is very strict about that. They give you a sort of a permit to live. And when I came, I think I hit the ground running. There were certain issues that were, you know, plaguing the South African community. So we sort of, fortunately, with the Board of Investment, we sort of ironed out, and I think then the Prime Minister's office delegated a person to be dedicated to us, so that these issues are sort of ironed out right from source. Yeah. So we then also impress upon the South Africans who are invested here that they need to constitute a chamber. And that sort of helped, because from you know, 2012, I haven't heard anything from the South African community. So I mean, of course, there are challenges here and there, but certainly it isn't as bad as when I arrived, you know. And we had bad press, because apparently the South Africans live. I think there are some South Africans who live here in the east. We are in the east part of the island, and they live in sort of what we call the integrated resorts estates, as well as in the west, where it is Tamarin and the Black River. If you go down to Black River, you'll find a lot of South Africans. It's more like a mini South Africa. Yeah. And they live in sort of what we call the gated communities, but that was the prescript of the government of Mauritius. And I think it had, you know, sort of negative consequences, because in the end, the Mauritians complained that, you know, South Africans are living together, they're not integrating. And it looked like it was a so-called lager, if I may say. Yeah. And it wasn't good. So I did a lot of, in fact, with my team, the South African High Commission, we had to do a lot of, you know, press publications, and also impressing upon Mauritians that we're not here to take over the country. There are certain rules and regulations that we need to abide by, and those certainly the South African communities have to do that. And then secondly is that we are here to complement each other, because we're not, you know, taking business, because as you see, a lot of development is through the South African who are here. The new malls, the Bagatelle, the Croisette, if you've seen them, they are all, you know, trademarks of South African who have invested here. It's more of a safe place, though you must realize that Mauritius just has a police police presence. They don't have an army.
Yeah.
So, and I think they're very well trained, because another issue that I need to highlight is the fact that they can pick up, and we have had, unfortunately, a lot of South Africans who have been pushing drugs, and of course they were caught first source at the airport, and of course the law here is very, very strict and brutal. They get long sentences, which is ranging from over 20 years, and then certainly that is not, I would urge South Africans to be very careful, especially when they come into here. They mustn't, partake in trafficking, because they will pick you up.
I imagine your being the South African High Commissioner, these are the type of cases that you have to deal with. I mean, besides the fact dealing with people wanting to live here, and people coming on holiday if they need anything from you, but it's also these devastating incidences.
Indeed, it is, and I mean, there's little much that we can do except provide the consular service, which any person is entitled to if they're in prison, and much more we cannot do more, because we have to follow the law of the country. So indeed, we do have to respect that.
Thank you for your time. It's been such a pleasure talking to you, and we've enjoyed having you here on the program, and certainly visiting this beautiful island of Mauritius.